Sudah. Halo, Mas Irsyad.
Halo, selamat sore.
Sorry, can you hear my voice clearly?
Yes, I can hear your voice clearly, Pak.
Okay.
I'm just setting up a microphone. I'm going to be testing that as well, ya.
Sure. Do your thing.
Berarti udah sering ya buat webinar di UI?
Pretty often. Lumayan sih. Kayak kita tiap bulan ada 1 atau 2 dengan pihak, baik itu luar negeri ataupun dalam negeri gitu.
Oh, oke sih.
Dengung nggak?
Kenapa?
Dengung.
Enggak.
Kalau berdua gitu.
Enggak. Enggak dengung kok. Enggak gemak.
Kalau nggak gemak.
Ya, enggak echo. Echo show. Oke. Silakan, Kak. Enggak apa-apa. Silakan.
Terus saya jalan cepat ya?
Iya, nggak apa-apa, Pak. Bapak di laptop juga nggak masalah, Pak.
Berarti saya pakai batik ya sebelumnya.
Saya stand ya.
Tes dulu.
Oke. Mas Yushat lagi di Kedubes apa gimana?
Saya lagi di kantor, bukan di kantor Dubes.
Saya jalan cepat ya?
Siapa? Iya, Mas. Kenapa?
Saya lagi di Menara Imperium pada kantor kawan saya.
Oh, Menara Emporium.
Video. Berarti nanti pas orang masuk itu langsung di mute atau gimana Pak?
Saya sendiri udah buat ininya ya, peraturannya ya. Saya berikan dulu ya peraturannya ke chat di sini. Biar Mas Irsyad bisa lihat. Kalau kita pribadi, kita biasanya ya misalkan di webinar itu misalkan masih dari pihak seperti pimpinan-pimpinan atau misalkan masih para VIP list, kita masih open. Jadi biar mereka interaksi dulu. Tapi kalau memang sudah diminta untuk mulai, semua kita mute, baru nanti moderator kita aktifkan mic-nya. Gitu. Ini peraturan yang kita buat untuk webinar hari ini. Jadi kita pas mulai, kita langsung berikan peraturannya seperti ini, jadi mereka paham harus seperti apa nanti. Oh ya, kita juga udah siapin 3 pertanyaan ya dari
mungkin
seperti
bisa
as you requested ya. Ya,
nanti kan nanti bisa feed aja ke dalam ini ya.
Apa Mas? Mohon maaf.
Ini untuk background filternya boleh kirim lagi sekali lagi ke saya lewat email. Dan bisa kirim sebagai GIF.
Kirim sebagai GIF di sini.
Ya, ini saya kirim email saya ya. Halo, halo.
Yes. Saya kirim ya via email.
Oke. Oke, bisa testing sekali lagi. Mikrofon.
Bisa. Suara Mas Irsyad cukup jelas.
Halo.
Sudah saya kirim ya Mas ya via email. Bisa mohon dicek.
Sudah yang masuk belum?
Belum lagi. Netflix kebuka ya. Oke.
Kenapa nggak? Ini taruh situ. Dia akan buat.
Kenapa Kak? Belum Kak, belum ada info Kak. Nah, saya tes ini ya Mas ya. Buat nanti misalkan pas baru pada masuk. Pas peserta masuk dan juga masih sesi
Baik, Pak.
VIP berbicara. Jadi kita putar ini dulu, tapi pas nanti sudah mulai masuk acara, saya akan matikan biar nanti kameranya fokus ke Mas Irsyad.
Too stretched, but that's fine.
Assalamualaikum, Mar Irsyad.
Waalaikumsalam, Pak Ghazali.
Ya, sudah siap ya? Mudah-mudahan lancar, Mar Irsyad.
Insya Allah, insya Allah.
Ngomong-ngomong, Mas Irsyad, ada info nggak yang dari Greece-nya ada berapa yang akan info atau ikut?
Untuk sementara mungkin ada 3 atau 4 dari VIP-nya.
Oh, langsung dari Greece, dari
Ya,
Athena. Oke.
Mas Irsyad, is there anything you still want to test?
Masih testing background filternya ya.
Aku tanya Mas Dika ya, Kak. Mas Irsyad, saya izin sholat dulu ya. Nanti
Baik, Pak.
sementara di-handle sama rekan saya yang lain.
Ada itu ajak dengan Yunani.
Saya juga ada itu sih.
Hello, testing, testing. Testing, testing.
Yes, I can hear your voice clearly.
Baik, ini di laptop ini aja ya. Saya mungkin dry run dulu ya. So opening remarks
Yes.
supaya bisa tes mikrofon aja. Make sure
Yeah.
it's jelas.
It's fine.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen in Indonesia, and good morning to those of you joining in from Greece. My name is Yashad Iskandar, and I'll be acting as your moderator for this event. Welcome to the first of a series of English language webinars, where we shall host discussions between foreign dignitaries and the staff and faculty of Indonesia's al-azhar University. Today, we have a special guest, Ambassador Apostolos Baltas from the Hellenic Republic, joining in from the Greek Embassy in Jakarta. Udah clear?
Ya. Jelas kok, Mas.
Oke,
Kedengaran.
siap.
Oke, sudah 4 people in the waiting room.
Pak Bagus, kalau Ambassador Apostolos atau Minas masuk ke ruang waiting room, minta accept aja. Dia mau tes sebentar mikrofonnya. Hello, Minas. Are you joining in from the embassy?
Do you hear me?
Yes, your microphone is a little bit low. Can you increase the volume?
Yes, wait, please. Now, do you hear me better?
Excellent. Yeah.
Yes, we can hear your voice. Good voice, I think.
Great.
How are you?
So Minas, have you tested Ambassador Apostolos's mic as well, or will he be logging
No,
in?
it's not connected as I can see, but let him text.
Perfect.
You're from Greek directly or from Jakarta?
Jakarta.
Oh, okay, right.
I'm
okay.
the deputy. I'm the deputy.
Okay, right.
Okay, I texted him. Probably he's trying.
I would like to inform to Mr. Irsyad and also Deputy of His Excellency Apostolos Baltas
Yes.
that the rector of UAI is already with us right now.
Great.
Assalamualaikum, Prof. Asep.
Hai.
Prof.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Rektor.
Waalaikumsalam. Pak Safrizal, Pak Irsyad, and His Excellency, the Ambassador of the Embassy of Greece in Jakarta, His Excellency Apostolos Baltas. Thank you for having me here.
Terima
And
kasih banyak, Pak Rektor.
Pak Ghazali also.
Yes. Waalaikumsalam.
Are you in campus or somewhere else? Somewhere?
We are all in campus, standby from
Okay.
international office.
Okay.
Inshallah.
Good. So I should find my screenshot door. Background. I do not have that background.
Oh, okay.
I will send you by your WhatsApp.
Okay.
Can we have a louder sound? No.
Sorry?
Okay.
His Excellency Ambassador.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. Thank you.
We are very happy. We met you with the virtual, okay? But you're okay, huh? In Jakarta?
Yes.
You're looking very good with those glasses, Mr. Ambassador.
Okay, all right.
Nice glasses, I know.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Pak Ghazali, Assalamualaikum, segar sekali terlihat.
Habis sholat, Bu. Assalamualaikum, Bu Ade.
Waalaikumsalam. Tadi ada itu soal menyolatkan jenazah Pak Mehmet ya?
Oh iya, iya. Salat gaib.
Di kampus ya? Enggak, di
Ya.
rumah.
Di kampus, Bu.
Iya, ada tadi sholat. Ada.
Ada.
Hmm.
Ah,
Pak Rektor udah hadir belum?
oh, sudah, Bu.
Ah.
Ah,
I'm with my background now. Thank you, Pak Bambang.
You're welcome, sir.
Pak Safrizal, did you send this information to in University Forum? I will send again now.
Ya.
Pak Ghazali, terima aja yang masuk.
iya, Pak.
Ya, sudah di-approve semua.
Silakan di-admit.
Approve. Di-admit aja, di-admit semua.
Halo, Pak Safrizal.
Assalamualaikum.
Ya, halo Pak Ghazali.
Yes. Akhirnya terrealisasi, Pak Safrizal.
Ya, ya.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, but at that time quite busy because we have many things to do, ya.
Yeah, yes.
Ambassador Apostolos, how are you?
Well, I only see your eyes.
How long have you been here, Mr. Ambassador?
Excuse me?
How long have you been in Jakarta?
1.5 years, and
Okay.
unfortunately, this happened in March.
Yeah.
Oh,
So we cannot see each other in the real life, eh?
True. But we will discuss about this.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah, we would like to know about Greeks more. I just learned from his story and some philosophy and something that many people from your country.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All science is related with the Greek.
Ari already joined, Pak. Jadi we can start. It's already 13.
I think let's wait a few more
Anybody
minutes
else?
while people come in. I understand they're going to be a bit late,
Okay.
if I may suggest.
Yeah, give us about another 5 minutes or
5
10
minutes?
minutes. Okay.
Tadi jatuh, pecah kayaknya. Nggak tahu.
Pari is here, there already.
Yeah, I believe it's still school is still out of session, yeah. So the students will be filtering in rather slowly.
Mr. Iskandar, I think we start. Bagus, kita mulai bagus ya. Start.
Yeah. Shall we start?
Okay.
I think so, yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
very well.
Okay, Tobroni already with us.
Yes. So let me start the opening, and then we will go into Pak Roni Tilwa. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, in Indonesia, and good morning to those of you joining in from Greece. My name is Irshad Iskandar, and I will be acting as your moderator for this event. Welcome to the first of a series of English language STEP webinars, where we shall host discussions between foreign dignitaries and the staff and faculty of Indonesia's Al-Azhar University. Today, we have a special guest, His Excellency Ambassador Apostolos from the Hellenic Republic, joining in from the Greek Embassy in Jakarta. He is a lifelong diplomat who has served Greece in a great number of critical foreign policy assignments throughout his career, which includes Serbia, Germany, the European Union, and many others. Indonesia is his first assignment to Asia and is part of the Greek Foreign Ministry's new emphasis on strengthening ties to the East. On the other side of the discussion is Professor Dr. Asep Saifuddin, the rector of University Al-Azhar Indonesia. He began his career in academia with a BA in Applied Statistics at Bogor Agricultural Institute, and then went on to become one of Indonesia's leading scholars in the biosciences, having received his Master's of Science in Quantitative Genetics, along with a PhD in Biostatistics and Population Medicine at Canada's University of Guelph. Additionally present is Mr. Safrizal Akbar, an advisor for a number of large companies in Indonesia and the founder of the Indonesia-Greece Foundation. Today's discussion will revolve primarily on Indonesia's human capital conditions and how to further improve its development, as well as how to rebuild the tourism industry in a post-COVID era. Before we move to start the event, I will first lay out some ground rules. Please keep yourself muted for the duration of the discussion, unless called upon by the moderator. If you wish to ask a question, the host will unmute your mic. Please state, number 1, in the chat, your name, number 2, your institution, and number 3, then your question. Thank you all for joining, and I will now turn to Ms. Toborani for the opening tilawah, the Islamic prayers. Pak Toborani.
Thank you, Mr. Iskandar Richard.
Pak Toborani, your mic is a bit low. Can you increase the volume?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Iskandar Richard. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Waalaikumsalam.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان. الشمس والقمر بحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان والسماء رفعها ووضع الميزان ألا تطغوا في الميزان وأقيموا الوزن بالقسط ولا تخسروا الميزان. والأرض وضعها للأنام فيها فاكهة والنخل ذات الأكمام والحب ذو العصف والريحان. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. خلق الإنسان من صلصال كالفخار وخلق الجان من مارج من نار. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. صدق الله العظيم. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you so much, Mr. Tobrani, for the Islamic prayer. I will now give the metaphorical podium over to Dr. Professor Rector Asep Saifuddin for his opening remarks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Iskandar Irshad. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
His Excellency Ambassador Apostolos Baltas, I am very happy that we can see each other, although only in the screen because of the pandemic COVID-19. However, sometime perhaps we can have a real meeting. I'm very thankful to Pak Safrizal Akbar, who already arranged this mini webinar on Greece, the country that we know a lot, but in the same time, we do not know much about that country. Therefore, we would like to learn from the ambassador about these countries. Thank you, Pak Safrizal. And also here, Ibu Ade is the Vice Rector for Collaboration and Resources. And I saw also Pak Ari is the Vice Rector for Student Affairs as well as Innovation. And Pak Bambang and his staff who also arranged this meeting. As you perhaps understand that Greece is a country that has a very great civilization. It is the center of the oldest civilization in Europe. I know various philosophers from your country with a very big name until now, such as Plato, Socrates, Aristotle, and many others, still influence our science philosophy including physics, biology, mathematics, as well as the international relation. The classical story of, say, the Peloponnesian War between Athens and Sparta, that is before Christ, sebelum Masehi, for example, is still one of the basic reference in the understandings of science in conflict some nations. I believe Pak Ghazali, Pak Yasmi, and other faculty staff of al-azhar Indonesia University understand this is the basic of conflict resolutions among the countries. Also, Greece now continues very nice attraction, I believe. In economic context, for example, your country is still a world-class investment choice, I believe. And in the latest news, informed from many information, the giant multinational company Microsoft just recently has put an investment about 1 billion, could be $1 billion US in your country. I think it was a very good and optimistic for us if we can have a collaboration between Indonesia and your country, including in higher education, as now University of Al-Azhar Indonesia is trying to broaden our network, not only in ASEAN countries, but also in Europe. Greece is included inside because I believe that if a country with a very strong historical background, very strong in philosophy, philosophy approach a long time ago, will increase again the strength of the country. So that in my mind, including in Indonesia, Indonesia is quite strong historically a long time ago, and we govern not only in our country now, but including all Nusantara, which including Madagascar in South Africa, and then to Cambodia and all Philippines, those countries long time ago called Nusantara. So I think that is one of the reasons that Indonesia will come back again, also great. But I will talk again in more detail in the session. But I certainly that we may learn from the ambassador about the countries, because now we are in still COVID, so perhaps the information from the ambassador will be very important for us. So please think the faculty in University Al-Azhar Indonesia to have collaborations with Greece, and in scientific development or economic or many related science in your country in Greece, and also we have in Indonesia, especially in my campus. So I open this webinar, and again thank you very much to Pak Irsyad, Pak Safrizal Akbar, Ibu Ade, and Pak Abang, and also Pak Ghazali, who arranged the webinar. Thank you very much for the faculty staff here, and also some of my students, including Tobroni. He is our student who just read the Quran a while ago. Terima kasih banyak. Thank you very much. Sekian dulu. Billahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Dr. Rector Asep Saifuddin, for your comments. I'm sure that every Indonesian student is exposed to the Greek philosophy in school, no matter what subject they learn, as a foundational part of their academic life. And for pointing out that, this could become the beginning of a dialogue between two very old and world-renowned civilizations. Now I'm going to turn the podium over to Mr. Safrizal Akbar, please, who was part of the Indonesia-Greece Foundation. Pak Safrizal, please give your opening remarks.
Thank you, Irsyad. Good afternoon, everybody in Indonesia, and good morning to everyone in attendance. I am Mr. Safrizal Akbar, founder of the Indonesia-Greece Foundation, something that is like little in the history of the deep relationship between Indonesia and Greece. During the 1950s and the 60s, President Sukarno and the President of Greece had a close personal relationship, which led to strong collaboration between the two countries, especially in the tourism industry. Today, my hope is that we can rekindle this deep bilateral connection. Indonesia and Greece have two big similarities that can lead to renewed cooperation on both a strategic and a commercial level. Both countries are archipelago nations, with Greece have over 6,000 islands and Indonesia having over 26,000 islands. Greece maritime network and its logical system is one of the best in the world and is something Indonesia must study and apply. Additional, both Indonesia and Greece have tourism as a major component of economic output. On tourism, both Indonesia and Greece were heavily affected by COVID-19. This is something we must work together to navigate and hopefully bring the industry back on the track. Thank you all for your participation, and hopefully this will renew interest in how our countries can work together for further development. Okay, thank you, Irshad.
Thank you, Pak Safrizal, for your opening statement and for highlighting the strategic as well as the commercial perspective about the bilateral ties between Greece and Indonesia. Now, we will now begin the lecture and further elaboration by the keynote speakers from both His Excellency Ambassador Apostolos, as well as Professor Rector Asep Saifuddin for this dialogue. So, Mr. Ambassador Apostolos, if you may begin your lecture on today's topic, which is on the education, the development of human capital in both countries, as well as the pathway towards the tourism industry in the post-COVID-19 world.
Thank you very much. I hope that, rather, I'm happy that we all survived 2020. Let's all stay healthy and safe in the future. My main message is that the two countries share excellent political relations. And this is the most important thing in building concrete cooperation between the two nations. And I'm confident that we will do it. That's my mission here in Jakarta, because there is a will on both sides to cooperate on win-win projects. Two main topics is, of course, education and tourism. Now, in 2020, the pandemic, I think, had an impact on education, and I will explain what. Humanity, for the first time in living memory, was faced with an existential threat, COVID. And within a matter of months, humanity bounced back. And we now know we're certain that we're going to kill this monster at the end. It was the triumph of science. Nothing is impossible anymore. But does this mean that when WHO would declare that the pandemic is over, that we are going back to 2019? No, I don't think so. The transition from a state of fear and uncertainty in the beginning of 2020 to a state of hope and victory at the end of 2020, to me, had a dramatic impact on humanity and on education and on how we're going to shape the world of the next generation on the basis of lessons learned. And to me, there are three lessons learned from the pandemic in 2020. The power of innovation and technology, the need to build robust health systems, because scientists tell us that there are other pandemics on the way. But in order to build robust health systems, we need to upgrade life sciences in our universities. And the third lesson learned was climate change. We must save the planet because this destruction is to a large extent responsible for the pandemic. So we have to go green. To me, 2020 was a wake-up call. It pushed humanity in a fast-forward mode. It brought the new digital age closer to us. 2020 was not 1 year, it was 10 years. And apart from the pain, the suffering, I think there are the good side effects that would lead to a new world. So to my view, the next generation will go through a restructuring of the things we know today. Are we ready for that? Do we have the scientists for that? Should we reinvent our educational systems? Should we reconnect the academic community to these new challenges of this new world? I think yes. I think yes. But above all, the most important lesson of 2020 was this: the miracle of science, the miracle of the vaccine in less than 1 year, when under other circumstances, it would have required 10 to 15. This miracle happened thanks to a massive scientific global cooperation. There was knowledge sharing between scientists all over the world. Can education follow the example of science? Can education go global? Can education provide this knowledge sharing between all countries in the world? It should. It should. That's why we want to cooperate with Indonesia. That's why we're open to projects in education with Indonesia. Of course, there are some traditional fields that perhaps might interest Indonesia. As Afrizal said, we are very good in maritime issues and shipping. We have the largest merchant fleet in the world. But we teach that. We teach that. Again, in tourism, we have a large, as Indonesia, tourism industry. We teach the art of tourism as well. But apart from these traditional fields that might interest Indonesia, Greece is gradually transforming into a technological hub. And there I'm referring to innovation and technological change. This is proven by the investments of big tech in Greece. Microsoft will open a cloud computing data center in Greece. Companies such as Tesla are investing in the tech sector. Amazon has just opened a web services center in Athens. And the latest news is that Pfizer, the producer of the first vaccine, will open a research and development center in Greece. So this shows that apart from traditional studies, the country is moving towards the digital age. On life sciences, yes, they are high quality, but there is always room for improvement. And on climate change, there is genuine political will to go green. We have to go green. And we need the scientists to help us go green. Water quality, renewables, waste management, you name it. So this is the picture of Greece today. What we can do with Indonesia, we can do many things. There are so many avenues to be explored through joint research, scholarships, exchanges, visits, and we are ready to do that. We are ready to do that. On tourism, things are really bad. We are one of the strongest tourist economies in the world, and we have one of the strongest brand names in the industry in the world. 30 million foreign visitors in 2019, 3 times our population. And the industry contributed more than 20% in our national GDP. But this pandemic took global markets by storm in 2020. And tourism took a dramatic dip. Are we today in a situation to assess, to forecast the trends of tourism? I'm not sure, because there is a rapidly evolving sanitary situation, various speeds in vaccine rollouts, containment measures and travel restrictions that change all the time. So it is very hard to predict the short-term future of tourism today. What I know, and I'm sure, that the moment that WHO declares that the pandemic is over, and the moment that people start to feel safe again to travel, tourism will bounce back. But the main priority remains public health, because this affects tourism. And Greece did considerably well compared to other European countries. And we are confident that when all conditions will be met, we will open our doors to our foreign friends. But in order to do that, we need to be prepared. And to be prepared means now save the infrastructure of tourism. That's why the Greek government is protecting the industry in Greece through direct financial support, both for the companies and for labor, the people. So when the time arrives, and it will arrive, perhaps in different forms, perhaps in different numbers, we don't know. But we want to be ready for that time. Now, closing remark about a Greek ambassador in Indonesia. Apart from the beauty of the country, apart from the size of the country, apart from great people of the country, my experience to follow a powerhouse in the making is amazing, politically. So I'm trying to study Indonesia, try to understand Indonesia, because you are going to become, in one generation, the 4th, 5th largest economy in the world. And Greece wants Indonesia. So we are open to any cooperation, any win-win projects, and I'm willing with all my heart to work for that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comments and your insights, Ambassador Apostolos. So you touched up on several things about some of the well-known negative ramifications of COVID-19 on not just Greece and Indonesia, but indeed globally. But you've also highlighted that there are some positives that are currently being developed. As you said, 2020 was not 1 year, it was in fact 10 years, right? And we've seen on many fronts when it comes to energy, life sciences, and maybe even on social fronts, 10 years of progress in just 1 year. So maybe if I can turn over to Dr. Professor Aisab Saifuddin, from your perspective on Indonesia's front, as we've heard what is currently happening in Greece, what are some of the key major positive takeaways that Indonesia has seen as a result of the COVID-19 crisis? And number two, where are some of the critical areas where Indonesia could potentially cooperate with Greece in further developing its capacities, both for itself and also in tandem alongside Greece?
Okay, thank you, Pak Irshad. From my perspective about the collaboration between Indonesia and Greece, it could be very limited as I haven't been there, and also the information for me is not too much. Just I know a little bit, except the historical perspective, as I was a teacher in IPB, and I taught some of science philosophy. So I have to take some reference, uh, as I mentioned before. But I am very happy in this room. I saw Pak Lulu. He is very senior a bureaucrat with very long experience in energy. He is the longest director general of energy or something. I really want to ask Palulu next after me about your experience about could be collaboration with Greece. And also my vice rector, Ibu Adi, is also uh, uh, a bit senior in terms of collaborations. I hope Ibu Ade will raise some idea. And also Pak Ari could be, before Vice Rector, Pak Ari was a team of National Innovation Committee under President SBY. So I would like ask Pak Ari also your experience to when you visit Greece or some other related country. Anyway, about the COVID, I think it is a sudden shock for us that for myself and also many scientists, almost we didn't think that we will have this COVID pandemic. So, but it is a good lesson learned, as Mr. Ambassador mentioned, that this is a wake-up call, and in this case, that also he mentioned about it could be we have to learn more deeply in life science. We do not really could be we know a bit about life science, especially related to microbiology, virology, and immunology, which is very important in facing the virus. But I really could be Greece had some experience in this case. But from my point of view, in the future, I think not only disruptive technology that will boost our economy, such as big data and Internet of Things and artificial intelligence and cloud computing and any related disruptive technology. But also, from my point of view, bioeconomics will be one of the main sectors for Indonesia, especially and also some energy, because if in the future the collaboration will be tighter, and the barrier will be very small, or could be no barrier anymore, except passport, except administrative barrier. But scientific collaboration it could be broadened. So in this case, our student may open their mind to go to many countries, including Greece. And in this time period, they can have the lecture, something like now, lecture from Greek people, from your university, we do not have to go there. Although to go there is very important, but not now, next time. In my mind, a country that I want to go, Palulu, is Greeks actually. Greeks and Austria and Morocco that I want to go, which is haven't been there. Greeks and Austria and Morocco is three countries that I am dreaming to go. Anyway, so for scientific collaboration and student collaboration and faculty exchange, please provide us what university in your country is good for us to go to collaborate. Our campus is quite strong in biology and also in international relationship, communications, and languages, and many others. But we would like to have a very strong centers also in halal center. I believe in Greek also now is getting important that halal lifestyle. That is my introduction. I would like to, if Pak Irsad, may I ask Pak Lulu to
Sure.
have
Actually,
some,
I was going to segue right into that. So Pak Luluk is, you know, as Dr. Aisep Safidin stated earlier, is a longtime Director General at the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources, if I'm not mistaken. You know, from your perspective, so in other countries, and indeed a lot of the places in the world, you see major developments in renewable energies. You see a lot of investments in electric vehicles and electric battery, you know, the electric battery technology. How has it seems to me when I read the news, Indonesia is moving along that route. I'm just wondering, what has COVID-19's real impact been on the Indonesian energy sector? And maybe talk about, if not just in Greece, what is the situation that's happening in along the European Union, which Greece is a part of, where there could be further collaboration between Indonesia as well as Greece.
Pak Lulu.
Pak Lulu, are you there?
Yes, thank you, moderator. And see, Prof. Sep, Their Excellency, Ambassador Baltas, thank you for inviting me to this very, very important dialogue or webinar. Prof. Asep, that I visited the Greece 2 times. The first one was in 2009. I chaired a cultural delegation to Greece. We had a cultural performance in Lefkada, Agrinio, and then the Athens. And then we have visited several cities to have a cultural performance in the top of the hill in Agrinio. The very, very rich people live in the mountain. Then I went back to the Greece, to Santorini. Santorini is a very beautiful place to visit. Yeah. Thanks, for the opportunity to share in this very important session. Back to energy matters, I think that's good. That's true that the government now have a very, very strong program on developing renewable energy. As a matter of fact, I was the first for renewable energy back to 2010, yeah. And so at least I know a little bit about the government plan, government program in developing renewable energy in order to replace the use of fossil fuel. And currently, the government has a very, very intensive program in developing electric car, as well as developing energy storage, battery, especially battery, because as you may have known that we have the material for producing lithium. Yeah. So I think there's an opportunity for cooperation in not only in energy sector, but also in cultural sector. Also, one more thing, I think if we can develop a cooperation in the tourism, because I understand that Greece has many, many interesting place to be visited. Also, we are developing tourism here, and we can make an exchange in tourism sector. Also, perhaps in the heritage, I think the Greece has many, many heritage that, as well as Indonesia, we have a heritage also. I think I remember that you have something like Spartan Kingdom, and we have a Mojopahit Kingdom in Indonesia. We can perhaps make a cooperation in restoring our Majapahit side. We can learn from the Greece in restoring the heritage. So I think this is also another possibility. I think that's the first I can tell you about the possibilities of making cooperation between the two countries.
Excellent insights, Pak Luluk. Thank you so much for that. Indonesia has been heavily involved in investing in the upstream when it comes to the electric battery industry. It is building massive nickel mines and refineries in Sulawesi around the Morotai area. And I think LG recently also invested $1 billion in building a electric battery plant in West Java, which will come online around 2022. So excellent insights, Pak Luluk. Thank you so much for that. So now we are moving on to the Q&A session of the discussion. So here, please include some of your please write your questions in the chat. Try to keep the questions related directly to the topic that are being discussed currently. Maybe we can start off with one of these questions directly from Etsi Alifia from the University of al-azhar, Indonesia. So this question is directed to Ambassador Baltas, Apostolos Baltas. So what she's asking is, currently in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, Indonesia and Greece's tourism industries have been severely impacted by COVID-19. According to industry professionals, visitors are down by 30%. And this is not only just for leisure travel, but it's also true for the business travel sector, which is typically a more stable source of revenue for this industry. Furthermore, in Indonesia, the tourism impact, the impact of the tourism industry has been particularly severe for workers, as 6.5 million tourism industry workers were laid off or dismissed by their employers. So in light of this, what is Greece currently doing to try to put their industry back on track? And from your point of view, I know it's a bit of a difficult topic, I know it's still in process, but from your perspective, what is Greece attempting to do? And what are some takeaways and lessons that Indonesia can learn from your efforts to improve the tourism industry over there in light of COVID-19?
Thank you for a very good question. What Greece is doing is trying to make Greece safe again, meaning that we are fighting COVID as much as we can. Because if Greece will not be safe, no one will visit Greece. There is this fear and uncertainty. This is the first priority, the pandemic. The second priority is keep the infrastructure and the business alive by supporting financially the companies involved in tourism, as well as the people working in tourism. The third priority is to have a diversified tourism product. By that, I mean that following again 2020, we feel that future visitors will be more sensitive in ecotourism. They will be more sensitive in spending time in the countryside, interacting with local communities. So the mix of the future will be different. We don't know to what extent, but the traditional mass tourism that we experienced till 2019, it will not be the same. Having said that, health, protection of the infrastructure, and try to diversify our product. We have to understand that the ecosystem of tourism is very complex. There are so many actors involved that go beyond our possibility to influence. Air companies. What can we do with air companies? Tour operators in other countries. We are all into this together. If the planet does not come back to normalcy, I think that the individual challenges of each country will be very weak. We can do our part, as I said, health, financial support, diversification of the product, but if the entirety of the ecosystem of the industry is not up and running again, there are many uncertainties. So, even though in education I'm very optimistic, by nature very optimistic, tourism is something that puts us in a way in a waiting mode, because there are things that are beyond our powers as individual countries. And the only thing we can do is prepare along the lines that I have described, and let's hope that tourism, it will bounce back. When, as I said, it's difficult to predict. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Baltas. So actually there's an input from audience member from Pak Ari from UAE, UAI. Please keep it short and to the point, Pak. Please go ahead.
Right, okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon, Mr. Ambassador. My name is Ari Shahriar. I'm Vice Rector on Innovation and Studentship, Universitas al-Azhar. There are a few things that I would like to raise to you, because previously you are talking about the collaboration between Indonesia and Greece, and also about the research and development. When you open for everything, collaboration between Indonesia to Greece. As we may aware that now there are shifting on world economic gravity from Europe and USA, North America, to Pacific Rim in Asia, where the forerunner of this economic development was China and Japan and Korea and Indonesia as well. So I would like to raise some ideas that we may be able to develop it in very short time. I have so many friends from Greek when I did my PhD at Imperial College in London. So I know how they are actually. We every day we have a chat and talk about the relationship between Indonesia and Greece. As you know, that Indonesia is the second biggest biodiversity in the world, right? We have everything here because we are in a equatorial area. We have traditional herbs that is been used for centuries in Indonesia. But then all of this kind of biodiversity hasn't been developed in such a way that can be accepted by all people in the world. For example, in this pandemic era, people in Indonesia usually tend to use Indonesian herbs or traditional herbs to prevent themselves by get infection by COVID. So this kind of traditional herbs, we may be able to make some kind of collaboration between both of us, Indonesia and Greek, such as a collaboration of research and development of your university and our university in Indonesia. And then we provide all this kind of biodiversity. And then your advanced university in Greek, who has a very good medical faculty, may be able to develop some kind of herbs or some kind of medicine to to get rid of this pandemic. So that one, we may be able to do it in a very short time. Therefore, I think what we can do, we can contact some of your university through you in Indonesia, and then we see what happen we can do between the both country, and then so that we can develop for the benefit of all. Secondly, Indonesia now, as you may aware, that our economic development, according to the McKinsey's and all these consultant companies, they predict that Indonesia will be one of the biggest economy in the world. But we also have similar approach with Greek, where I haven't visited Greek, but from the all the pictures I see, that it is a beautiful country that I may be able one day to visit. But then there are so many common things that we can develop within tourism industries. We can sort of what we call exchange our experience. What is the experience of a Greek, and then what is Indonesia, or say Indonesian people? You have to understand now, Indonesian people would love to go abroad. If you see within the last 10 years, a lot of Indonesian has been going everywhere in the world, especially in Greek. I know that because I saw a lot of my friends went to Greek because they would like to visit this beautiful country and would know the root of civilization coming from Greek, as well as China as well in the other side. So if you take a look of the data from tourism in Indonesia, mainly they are going to go to like China or Asia Pacific area. Indonesian, lots of them going abroad. If there is no pandemic, they surely, there are a lot more Indonesian will go abroad. And one of the places that they love to go is Greek and Turkey, actually, which is quite close together, because the area is nice, and then the beautiful scenery and all that. Therefore, I would like to propose you one thing. You see now, people, especially all these young people, young guys, or like millennials, we call it millennials. They don't like to read. Right? They don't like to buy a book about Greek and then try to read them. How about if Greek, through your embassy here, and we are as a private university, we developed one small apps application, okay? Apps about Indonesian and Greek tourism. And I don't know where is the money coming from, but there must be some source we can begin. And then these apps will tell what is tourism in Greek and what is tourism in Indonesia. And then all these apps will be distributed to all these millennial who has lots of money. And then they will learn from there how they can do things in Greek, where they should go in Greek, firstly. Secondly, what do and don't in Greek. Similarly, we also provide the same information within that apps, which is Indonesia is a very rich country. Mainly people only know Bali, but then there are a lot more places more beautiful than Bali actually in Indonesia that we can expose to Greek people. So this kind of thing, even though it's a small application or apps that we can put in our handphone, but then will be contribute a lot to these two industries. We will receive a lot more Greek people coming to Indonesia. Similarly, Greek will also receive a lot of Indonesian to come there with the knowledge that they already prepared prior to go to Bali, to Greek. I think this kind of thing, is a very small thing we can do, but then it will be giving you a very big impact on both countries. The third one is that I would love to do this research and development with your university collaboration things, because we need to learn a lot from your country as well. I think some people in Greek university also would like to learn a lot from Indonesian biodiversity stuff. So this kind of collaboration will also benefit all of us. And I think with this Zoom meeting or webinar, whatever they say, we can reduce so many, we can save so many financial things and make the program run. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Pak Ari, for your quick suggestion. Maybe just a very quick response from the ambassador. So basically, Pak Ari touched up on, one, the potential for making use of Indonesia's biodiversity, and maybe some collaboration with on an academic level and maybe even a commercial level with people within Greece, as well as the development of tech platforms that can assuage a stronger relationship between Greece and Indonesia. Maybe just a quick response from you, and then we can go to the next question.
Well, first of all, I'm open and supportive of any ideas that can bring the countries together. I'm open to any initiatives that can contribute to that end. Biodiversity, of course, is an avenue that we can explore. Apps and tech platforms, very good idea. It requires some work, and we need to look at that. But in the age of internet, there's so many websites, official state websites in Greece as in Indonesia, where one can study the other country in a very accurate way. Perhaps we have the Visit Greece website, sponsored by the Ministry of Tourism, where you get all the information on what you can do in Greece. We have another platform, Study in Greece, where you can choose your university in your field, which is a very friendly website environment. So there are tools, but if we are to create more tools that would intensify this approach, I'm really open. I'm really open.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador, for the quick response. Moving on, just before we go into further discussion regarding the education and cooperation, a quick question from Septi from UAE. So she asks to you, addressed to you, Mr. Ambassador. So we all know the issues currently that's going on with the tourism industry, both in Indonesia as well as in Greece. You highlighted number one, that the health situation must be made safe for people to feel comfortable to come to back to these countries, and two, that there must be some support for the critical tourism infrastructure, so that they don't go under before COVID has run its course. However, one of the things that the question here particularly pertains to, how do you actually create a marketing strategy to promote the tourism industry, or tourists to actually participate in the tourism industry in the post-COVID-19 world? What are some of the critical components in regards to getting people's attention and opening their minds to actual travel again?
We have a strong brand name. The name Greece in tourist terms is the 5th strongest in the world. I understand in the top would be Italy, France, most probably. So we have a strong brand name, and this is a magnet that makes people interested in visiting Greece. The fact that we managed to navigate through this pandemic in 2020 reinforced even more this brand name, that we have invested so much in taking the virus out of the country. So I would say the basic tool is to preserve the brand name and make it stronger over the years. This would attract our foreign friends, provided, again, and I repeat that the sanitary situation has considerably improved and that it's safe to spend your holidays in Greece. And this, of course, applies to all countries in the world. But I would say the brand name is the main tool that we use.
I see. Just a quick comment on that for you, Mr. Ambassador. So Indonesia is very well known for being rather uncompetitive in terms of exporting its cultural image. People. I've had friends in the U.S., for instance, who say, "Oh, Indonesia, is that in Bali?" So clearly Indonesia has some issues in regards to marketing itself overseas. So I'm just curious, from your perspective, both in Greece and the European Union, how strong is the Indonesian brand? And what are some of the things that Indonesia and Indonesians can do to uplift its brand image, particularly in your part of the world?
Promote what you do best. Choose what you do best. And then embark on a very aggressive marketing operation, not only in Europe, in the US as well, because this requires a very professional, let's say, approach, because communication nowadays has become very scientific. If you want to do that, you have to see where Indonesia it's at its best, and how can you sell this to the outside world, because tourism is about brand name. And believe me, you have the ingredients. You have the ingredients because you have the beauty of the country. People are very important. There was a study on how foreigners see Greece's brand name, and what came first was Greeks. You are like Greeks. You interact, you're friendly. So people are important. So you have the beauty of the country, you have the people, you have this rich culture There's biodiversity, national, cultural. Build on that. Build on that, and you will make a brand name. That's my approach. That would be my answer.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador. All right. I suppose maybe Bu Ade, just a quick question here on the tourism again. Okay, so it is a bit of a synergizing between the education as well as tourism. So that would be a good segue into the education focused questions. So what kind of joint research could be prioritized in regards to the current COVID situation in developing further the main interests of tourism between Greece and Indonesia? I hope I succinctly synthesize that question well enough.
Well, it can be done. It can be done first of all, we know the art very well of tourism. And we are open and willing to pass this experience and this know-how to Indonesia. Of course, given the circumstances, there will not be any physical presence, but we do have webinars. So we can establish a link between Athens and Jakarta and see what Indonesia wants to know about tourism, and we will pass over the information. Remember, as I said at the beginning, information, knowledge sharing, it's the key to the future. Knowledge sharing, we can do that. That's one avenue. That's one avenue. The second one is bring companies together, tour operators, because it's them who know the job better than anybody else. So there are ways to create synergies and cooperation between the two countries in the tourism industry. And you have a huge potential. You have a huge potential. Exploit it.
Thank you for the answer. I hope it's succinct. Hope it's a good answer for you, Bu Ade.
Yep.
Maybe we can move on to the more education focused. A good segue to that one.
A little bit. May I have a question to Pak Safrizal?
Boleh, go ahead.
Yeah. Pak Safrizal, are you there?
Hello, Pak Safrizal?
Yes, still there. Pak Safrizal.
Hello. Anyway, if not, mungkin Pak Lulu or perhaps Mr. Ambassador. Pak Lulu, why we call Yunani for Greeks? Pak Safrizal, itu buka tuh. Kenapa disebut Yunani? Kan beda sekali tuh antara Greeks and then our translation is Yunani. From what word is that, Pak Safrizal? Do you not understand my question, Pak? Okay, the ambassador.
Well, actually, I have the answer for you, Pak Rector. So actually, the Indonesian word for Greece, Yunani, is originally from Persian. So the Persian word for Greece is Yunan, which I think comes from Ionia, which is a region in Greece. So they had a bunch of wars in case very famous wars with the Ionians back in the day. So I believe they, from Athens, right? The Athenians were Ionians. So I believe that's why Indonesians call them Yunani, coming from the Persian root.
Yes, makes sense. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, may I have one more question?
Boleh, Bu, go ahead.
To Mr. Ambassador, I just want to know, how do you enforce health protocol and how is the learning system conducted? during the pandemic? That's the additional question I just want to know. Thank you.
How we apply health protocols, you said?
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
how do you enforce health protocol? And how is the learning system conducted during the pandemic?
well, first of all, the good news is that the citizens followed the health protocols.
Okay.
There was a very positive response. Even though there was mental fatigue, in the majority of cases, people applied health protocols, meaning physical distance, washing hands,
okay,
avoid crowds. So I think to a large extent, the not success, but the fact that we are doing well is because our society and our citizens understood the stakes and collaborated. Not all the time, but in the majority of times. The second wave, which was stronger than the first, is a little bit more complicated because people are tired. But still, in general lines, I would say that, yes, they have responded, and this has helped very much the task of the government. And can I go back to the previous question?
Sure, go ahead.
Yep.
Well, it's Persian, but it's also Turkish. So you give us a Turkish name, we give you a Greek name.
Actually, a fun fact: Indonesia is actually half Latin and half Greek. So Indo is Latin for India, and Nesia is Greek for islands. So we're called the Indian Islands, actually. Yeah. So we have a Greek name.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, yeah, Mr. Ambassador. Yeah. So I received a question from Pak Luluk. Pak Luluk, are you still there?
Yeah.
Yes. So I believe.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, perfect. So now I think we want to focus more on the education aspect of the talk, Mr. Ambassador. So as you can see here, mostly a lot of the people here present are academics, right? So we have people from UAI as well as, which is most of the people here, and Pak Luluk from ITB as well, with some connection with ITB. So I'm just curious, from your side, Mr. Ambassador, what are some where are some key focuses where Greece is very strong in terms of its knowledge capacity, and what are some maybe some takeaways, some programs, some initiatives that on our side we can actually start moving along in regards to further collaboration on an academic level with Greek institutions? Maybe Pak Luluk, if you want to also clarify a little bit further. Otherwise, I'll give it to the ambassador directly.
Yes, I think we have to learn some things that the Greece has a strong in this field, like tourism, tourism, and then perhaps, I don't know, do you have any, Mr. Ambassador, do you have any major energy, energy projects or achievement in order to make a cooperation with Indonesia? Thank you.
Well, the first one is humanities, classical studies, shipping and maritime issues, tourism, life sciences, and technology. We have developed dozens of MBA programs, postgraduate studies. It's easy to select one, because we have this website Studying Greece. So you can type your field of interest, and then the system shows you all the MBAs, all the studies in that particular discipline. This pertains to the individual who wants to study and take something from Greece. I note that maritime issues and tourism is a priority of the president here. So to give you an example, there is the Greek University of Economics and Business provides the 5th best MBA in maritime studies. So there are possibilities in these fields. But apart from that, we need some government push, some government cooperation in that. We had a agreement on education and culture, which expired in 2018, but now we're working on a new agreement, and our Indonesian friends are working on draft 0 that they will send very easily to very fast to Greece. So we have to have the institutional framework, which is the agreement government to government, and through that we can explain to both countries what are the opportunities to the other country, what Indonesia can teach us, what Greece can teach you, right? So again, humanities and classical studies, because we have this history and culture, as you said many times, shipping, tourism, because we are good, life sciences are of a good quality in Greece, and technology, since we are starting investing in technology, in renewable energy, etc., etc.
And maybe if I can build on that, from your perspective, how far behind is Indonesia in regards to its maritime capacities in comparison to Greece?
As an ambassador, I'm not allowed to answer this question.
Okay.
It's not politically correct.
Yeah.
But,
all right.
But being 1.5 years in Indonesia, what I learned is that Greeks have a maritime culture. I think Indonesians have still a continental culture. I don't know if I'm wrong, but this is what I'm getting from the archipelago.
I think on in many ways you're right. I think if you just look at the cost of logistics, right, for moving things around in Indonesia, it's about 19 to 24% of the final cost of goods is actually eaten up by logistics, whereas in other countries, to benchmark from the US is only about 10 to 12%, and China and India is about 15 to 17% both. So I think you're correct there. There is a large component, and I think by Greece can certainly by learning from Greece, we can gradually bring those costs down, alongside with further investments in the infrastructure.
Mr. Ambassador, can I ask one small question? It's just coming up into my mind a couple of minutes ago. Is it possible for you to make some kind of collaboration with us, with the University of al-Azhar, to open a course on Greek language or Latin language, something like that? Because I think at the moment there are no university in Indonesia who offer this Greek, language. I don't know. I might be wrong, but then this would be increase the Indonesian, knowledge on how to speak Greek, and also, their interest to go to their country. Thank you.
That's my dream. That's my dream. Even though Greece is not spoken a lot around the world, It is very popular in Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's a mathematical language, equations.
Yes, exactly.
And it's not a language of communication, it's a language of reasoning. Let me give you an example. The word democracy. What is democracy? Can someone explain to me what is democracy in his own words?
As a moderator, I could say rule by the people.
That's the exact Greek meaning of the word. How'd you know that? Demos is the people, kratos is power. People have the power. Nothing by accident. So Greek is a valuable language. I hope I can make it. I hope we will perhaps touch upon this in the forthcoming new agreement on education, but we will see. What really interests me is there an appetite for Greek language in Indonesia? Because we should start from there.
Well, if you offer one, then if it is very unique, then people would love to go. I think small, as I said, it's just a small step. We can offer one course in University Al-Azhar Indonesia, which is what we call Greek language, and then Greek language or culture. And then, some of your stuff, maybe, I don't know, there must be a lot of Greek in Indonesia that you can sort of recruit them and ask them to represent your country and then give some kind of lecture in our country. What do you think about it?
There are 60 Greeks in Indonesia, which is 60 Greeks in a country of 270 million people.
All right.
Maybe I can offer a suggestion, Mr. Ambassador. Just to kind of test the waters and figure out what the interest actually is to learn Greek in the country. Maybe we could sort of work on setting up some Greek language introduction classes. Send that out across all the universities in Indonesia, maybe even led by University of al-Azhar Indonesia, or maybe other universities such as ETB. And then we see what the response is. And if it's the first class is very popular, you can expect maybe 20%, 30% of the people who enter the first class to want to go on to the second class and so forth, right? Until you hit your hardcore main guys. So it's a simple thing. It's a simple step. There's no large commitment, but maybe a small series of intro classes could certainly, on offer, could certainly somewhat test the waters to see if there's actual interest within the country.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
I can do that myself.
Sure. And also on May, for your knowledge, for your information, we established what we call market space in University of Al-Azhar. We call it tajir.store. You may be able to see it from your gadget. We are going to have a 1 year birthday things. I would like to invite you, if you would like to give some few things about Greek, your culture, how we speak Greek and all that, within that occasion, say for 20 minutes, you may be able to promote Greece, whatever. And then in that sense, we can say from this store that we would like to make, say, the Greek language course for 2 months, say something like that. And then I don't know how much you're gonna set or how much you're gonna charge. We provide the places or this kind of Zoom, and ask our students if they would like to come, then they would love to come. I think for the first batch, if you say, okay, we give you free, then it would be very great. There must be a lot of people would like to come. And then start from there and see what happens. As Irshad say, are you Indonesian or Greek, Irshad?
Saya orang Aceh, Pak.
Oh, awak Aceh lagu Pak Kampung. Okay.
Aceh Besar.
Aceh Besar, okay.
Di Indrapuri, Pak.
Indrapuri, saya Banda Aceh.
Oh,
Okay.
Saya di Lamprit sebenarnya. Tinggalnya.
Alright, okay. Because your English is very good.
Pernah ke Greek mungkin Pak Iskandar?
Nggak pernah, cuman baca aja.
No, because I see, those are Chinese usually, when they speak English, they are very good. Because I don't know why. He's very good English. I think Mr. Ambassador would agree with me.
GR.
Anyway, but what I'm trying to say to Mr. Ambassador is that let's do something. If you agree with me to make one class of Greek language in University of Al-Azhar, Indonesia, then because we are in Islamic culture based, then the merit between Greek culture and Muslim culture would be very different things, very unique, Mr. Ambassador. And then we can promote your language within our university. What do you think about it?
When the Crusaders reached the Levant, thousands of years ago, they were impressed by Greek and Arab civilization.
Exactly.
Which were higher than the European civilization back at that time.
Exactly.
Not mentioning the fact that they discovered soap to wash them.
A very important discovery, I would say, life-changing.
But I'm open, but I think the idea of having a short presentation in the beginning and to just test the waters is the best way forward at this stage.
Sure.
Exactly. So this we can claim this is coming from the Acehnese,
Yeah. So just Mr. Ambassador, Aceh is just a province in Sumatra. That's why it's being brought up. Okay, but yeah, certainly this is something that's very executable in the short term. Maybe a cross-cultural language course with some universities in Greece, maybe in Athens and Indonesia. So on one end, the Indonesian side can support some sort of intro courses to Bahasa Indonesia and Indonesian culture, and on the other side, Mr. Ambassador, perhaps you can bring some academics on board to test the waters to see whether there's actually major interest. I'm not exactly sure if the Greek government is too concerned about the spread of the Greek language, but many European governments, as I'm aware, are very keen on spreading their language across the world. I would like to I actually want to jump in one of our VIPs into the discussion, Mr. Setianto. So Mr. Setianto, are you there? Pak Santianto? Pak Santianto, I think he's away from the keyboard currently, but he's the former CEO of Telkom Group. So hopefully he'll be back on to intermingle regarding the technology transfers between Greece and Indonesia. Indonesia is very strong. Indonesia may not be the strongest in terms of its maritime logistics, but certainly it has done an excellent job in terms of spreading its telecommunications across this massive archipelago. I'm not sure if you're aware, Mr. Ambassador, but Indonesia was the third country in the world to have a satellite in space, actually, due to, it's called the Palapa program. So there was a very large investment and emphasis on developing a space program in the past, and Telkom, which is state-owned enterprise, has been critical in spreading the telecommunication capacities throughout this country, which I'm sure you use pretty much every day. Any other questions? So I think we've delved into some things that we can do in terms of a cross-cultural, cross-institutional discussion between Athens and Greece. Maybe before I give it to Ambassador to close out, if there's no other questions, maybe Pak Rector, do you have any sort of insights or inputs into how this discussion went, and maybe what would you like to see going forward in regards to the bilateral relationship between Indonesia and Greece?
Sure. As I mentioned before, Pak Iskandar, that University of Al-Azhar Indonesia, for the moment, we do not have many collaboration with European countries compared to other big university in Java, such as Bogor, Bandung, and University of Indonesia. They have, I believe, many collaboration with European countries, including Greece could be. But this a good opportunity after we heard a lot, many information from the ambassador about this country, and from our perspective that that the country who had already great historical background could be moved again, lead the world sometime in the near future, including in this case our both countries. But we have some what we call barriers in terms of language. Indonesian language also not well known in the world, as well as Greeks, not anymore well known, except some political language, scientific language, mathematical language. We use Greeks, but not in terms of daily conversations compared to English. That is our hindrance. But in terms of the future collaboration, I would like to discuss again more detail, especially for our student who would like to go there. As perhaps my student understand that we have now a program of Merdeka Belajar Kampus Merdeka, Pak Lulu. We have freedom. Then and one of the indicators of Merdeka Belajar Kampus Merdeka is to go abroad. But for the moment, going abroad is still limited in ASEAN. So we have a tight connection with Malaysia, Brunei, as well as Taiwan and China. And the longest one is, the further one is in Egypt only. But we do not have strong collaborations with any European countries. That is the opportunity for us to build collaborations. It could be in life science and energy, as we really need now. And Indonesia is going to move our economy by resource-based, but with innovation-driven economy. So still resource-based, but we are not resource-based in terms of raw material anymore, but we are improving that resource by new technology and innovation in our very strong resource biodiversity. That is what we know. So perhaps in that area we can work together. The second could be in humanity and political science. Could be another second domain for collaboration. What I mean by humanity, including culture and language, as now we are very strong in Arabic, Chinese, and Japanese, as well as English department, but we do not have French or Greeks. No, we do not have that one. So, but we can collaborate in terms of culture. So this the second option, and the third one is related to biomedical science, because after COVID, now many people, students especially, want to know more about our relationship with microorganism. As our relationship with microorganism is very limited. We do not know anything. So finally, we have the problems with COVID. Fortunately, we have some resources in herb, although we do not have any scientific evidence about the proof of herbal medicine for COVID-19, but at least we drink a lot, many herb, many ginger, for example, curcuma, and related to, we think that it will improve our immunities, but we need to learn a lot on what the efficacy of that herbal medicine. That could be the area, Mr. Ambassador, from my side. And then yeah, we need to sit down again with the team of collaborations. I forgot to mention you mentioned about MBA or something. So could be in management and economic also could be very important collaboration. Okay, so please, my student here in the group, you may plan if you would like to go abroad. Greeks is one of our opportunity. So that is my suggestion. So it will be one of the main indicators for university in this program of Kampus Merdeka Belajar. What I mean that by Kampus Merdeka Belajar is the freedom of students to choose their subject of learning and to choose their universities of learning, including outside, including overseas, not only in Indonesia, but outside. Thank you. Itu tambahannya. That is my additional point of view.
Okay, terima kasih. Thank you so much, Pak Rector. Maybe Luluk Pak Luluk as a VIP. Thank you so much for coming. Do you have any other statements that you want to maybe chip into before I give it to the ambassador to close out?
Pak Lulu? Mungkin sedang keluar ya Pak Lulu ya?
Yeah, it's fine. Okay, Mr. Ambassador, before I ask you to close out this call, I do want to remind everyone to please stay on and turn on their video after the ambassador has made his remarks so that we may take a group photo. If I may ask the hosts, please tolong take the photos once that is ready, and signal to me when everything has been finalized, yeah? But Mr. Ambassador, so thank you so much for coming to attend this webinar. I think your inputs has been very enlightening to the community, both within the University al-Azhar Indonesia, as well as our guests. And we're looking forward to further collaboration and stronger bilateral ties and further dialogue between our two countries. Do you have any sorts of last thoughts before we head off towards, before we head off from this webinar?
What is very important is the operational follow-up. So since this discussion was very interesting to me, let's not lose sight of what was told today and continue working on what was, let's say, said in this webinar. And I would like to thank you. I would like to thank you for your invitation. I would like to thank all the guests. And let us not forget, we are geographically far away, but the world is getting smaller. So let's do it. Let's do it. Thank you.
Excellent last words. Let's just do it. Nike, I believe, is a Greek word. Let's do it. Both a brand and a Greek word, actually. I think it stands for victory. Yeah. Everyone, tolong ini nyalain
Photo session
video
nih, photo session.
supaya bisa ambil foto bareng. Bagus, can you take the photo for us?
Yes. For all audience, may turn your camera on. Tolong nyalakan kameranya. We would like to take a picture. Okay, so there is 2 pages. So I will take the first page first. Okay. For the first page, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Next. For the second page, 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you, Mr. Richard.
Okay, sudah ya. Thank you so much for attending this webinar. Let's keep in contact and communication. There are certain takeaways that I would love to see moving forward, especially on the cross-language initiative. Let's keep in contact and let's move forward. Thank you all for joining this webinar, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And we'll see you next time for our next series of the Foreign Dignitary.
Before we close, may I ask what is thank you in Greek?
I don't know, unfortunately. Maybe Ambassador?
Ευχαριστώ. Ευχαριστώ.
Ευχαριστώ. Okay.
Ευχαριστώ, Mr. Ambassador.
Ευχαριστώ, Mr. Ambassador.
Terima kasih.
Thank you.
Terima kasih.
Sama-sama.
Ευχαριστώ.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Makasih.
Thank you Pak Safrizal.
Take a picture together ya Pak.
Terima kasih.
Oh, hilang tadi.
Udah ambil tadi.
Mana tadi Ibu?
Oh ini ada dokumen untuk jadi ajak lari dulu.
I'll take one last
Kosong Ibu
photo.
tadi. Tahu Palu lu kosong.
Jadi mana nih Ustaz?
Okay.
Rizal sih.
Want to take one last photo?
One more.
One more? Okay.
One more.
Okay, so
Erika, please.
Okay, so for the last hurrah, may every participant turn your camera on. Okay. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Cheers. Okay. Okay.
All right, I'll see you guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you
very much.
Terima kasih semua.
Thank you.
See you again. Another webinar.
Amin.
Yes.
Amin.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Pak
Ambassador. Yes.
Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Apa kabar nih?
You're welcome, Mr. Ambassador.
Rizal, kita belum halo-halo lagi ya. Foto aku taruh terus.
Excellency, thank you, Excellency, Ambassador.
Thank you very much. Bye, Sarita. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I see you in Athens.
You're invited.
Ambassador, you have to go to Garut. Garut kampung Pak Mr.
Okay.
Garut is beautiful.
Also, Minangkabau is beautiful. You should go there. Go to Garut and then Minangkabau.
Garut only 3 hours from Jakarta. 3 hours from Jakarta.
4 hours now. 3 hours. Minangkabau 2 hours by plane. You know, beautiful in Sumatra. But Garut also okay. Come to my place.
I will. I promise. I will.
Sure. Thank you. After
Bye, everybody.
Okay. Bye.
Very much.
Oke, Bu Ade, terima kasih.
Baik, terima kasih. Terima kasih.
Assalamualaikum.
Oke. Baik, terima kasih semua atas partisipasinya. Berhubung acara sudah selesai. Formal banget lah.
Ini normal banget.
Sisanya udah tinggal uai.
Oke, paling tidak lancar. Moga-moga nggak ada komplain di belakang. Ya nanti saya hubungin Irsad, nanti ada apa tindak lanjut selanjutnya atau tidak. Tapi kayaknya kalau Pak Ghazali nanti dihubungi Pak Safrizal minta macam-macam ya dituruti aja. Kayak gitu. Oke, minggu ini kita nggak ada apa-apa kan?
Rapat Pak hari Kamis Pak besok.
Oh ya, sama yang Bu Ade ya. Paginya sama siapa? Semeo ya?
Paginya Semeo, Pak.
Oke, terus hari Jumat sama Kopertis ya?
Kopertip.
Kopertip.
Iya.
Oke, kalau gitu. Baik, kalau gitu ketemu besok Bapak Ibu. Terima kasih atas hari ini effortnya, walaupun agak keluar dari tor, ya sudahlah. Seperti itulah yang terjadi. Baik, kalau gitu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Sukses Pak Ghazali. Ini di laptop yang itu ya Pak?
Iya. Udah live aja, kamu live aja. Live meeting.